UnrealTek, a division of BlenderTek, and welcome to the first video on making teams in my networking series. A YouTube user by the name of Chuck W asked me if I could show a good clean way to create networked teams similar to the Battlefield setup where you can choose a medic, sniper, etc. So we're going to attempt something to that degree, I guess. This is way down the road from where I wanted to start with, but I was gonna do a chat box tutorial anyway while slowly doing more replication tutorials. So why not teams? Anyways, let's open up Unreal. Remember our motto, create your way, and let's get started. I am going to create a third-person project. I'm adding starter content just so we have some extra stuff on there in case, and I'm gonna hit create project and let's get going. Now, teams lend themselves well to many games, especially shooter games, but stepping back a bit, teams especially lend themselves well to being able to choose between different game modes, like say like regular deathmatch or team deathmatch or free-for-all, a multitude of game modes where teams play a part. And so because of that, they also would require things like a lobby, map voting, and the team-based gameplay I'm talking about, and all sorts of other interesting network gameplay elements. So we might be building some of that alongside of it to make use of teams. But we'll start off simple, we'll see where we get. So I'm just gonna set up my folders here so I know what's important and not. Just a little trick, you can always right click on a folder and set color to a new color or an existing color. For example, geometry is not that important to me, so I'm going to set it to a dark red. Now, due to having all these folders from the template starter content and just the way it's set up in 4.9, I'm going to create a new folder, blueprint, and I set that to green. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go file, new level, empty level, make sure everything's pretty much unloaded from memory if possible. I'm going to right click, I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call this stock assets. And I'm going to throw all of this other crap in there. Looks good to me. Let's start setting up our folder structure. So being as teams is going to be a fairly important part of our blueprints, let's make a folder dedicated to them called teams. I'm going to set that to green because we know it's fairly important. And let's kind of just start right off the bat. Let's right click, blueprint class. Let's choose actor, the most basic class, and let's call this BP go teams data. I like that, and let's open it up. And I don't have the right settings in here, so I'm gonna set up my settings. Alrighty, so we could use a structure for holding all of the team information. However, since we're going to be networking, I want to keep things as simple as possible, so let's keep it in variables for now. So what are we going to want for teams? We're obviously going to want a name for our team, so team's name, and we will make that a string, and we're going to want a team color, maybe. So we'll go linear color, yeah. And then every team can be identified by a color. We'll probably want like a little icon, so your medic would have like a little plus, red cross signs. So we'll have like a team icon, and that would be a texture 2D reference. And so let's compile this. Let's make all of these editable. Here's a little trick I learned, by the way. I just remembered, I figured this out during the last game jam. If you've got a variable set up and you want to quickly change it to a different one without going all the way over to the details panel on the other side of your screen, I realized that these little icons over here are clickable, and you can click them and you can search or choose a new a new variable type. So I found that pretty darn cool. So for team color, let's make the stock one the stock, like, let's not make it the teal, let's make it the stock Unreal, I don't even know what you call it, pink. We'll go like that. So 100.51. And for team icon, let's see if there's any icons in here we could use for just a stock one. No, let's use the UE4 logo card just for now. And team name, let's just give it a default team name of some team name. Just making sure that all our values are initialized. And we could even go a step further and create a team descript. And I'll just go team description. And we'll make that a string as well, which we will just say a description of this team. So compile and save that. So that should do us for now. Let's go ahead and set up some default teams. So let's right click, create child blueprint class, and we'll go BP teams underscore, and let's follow the advice or what the user requested. We'll have medic, although this doesn't really fit the teams. We should have teams, and then on each team you should be able to choose what type of player you are. That would make things a little more interesting, but also a little bit harder. We'll start here and see where we get. So we got teams medic. Let's create another child blueprint class. Teams underscore assault. Teams underscore sniper. And teams underscore demolition. How about that? Something like that. So let's set these up quick. So team sniper. In the class defaults, I hate how it doesn't open data only blueprints in the data only blueprint viewer. If anyone could tell me how to fix that, I would be oh so grateful. So this team name is gonna be snipers or sniper, whatever. Let's give them a blood. Let's not give them blood red. Let's give them like a dark red. I don't know, makes me think of less saturation, makes me think of like a sniper's crosshair kind of, but with like blood red. I don't know, let's give them a random color. And team description, well-trained, accurate sharpshooters who have better accuracy and damage with their weapons. Something like that. And I guess we're gonna need a little icon, so let's hop into paint and let's make ourselves a little crosshair that is, we'll go like 256 by 256. And so let's just use a circle, I guess. Not the best drawing I've ever done, but we will save that as a PNG. Let's go to our folder we're working in. Unreal Tutorials, Teams Took. Let's create a new folder called Teams Took Intermediate Files. And this is going to be Sniper's logo. And let's delete all that. And what else did we need? Assault. Bing. Perfect. All right. So that's going to be our assault logo. And we needed medics. That one's easy. We can just make some super thick. There's our there's our icon. So there's our medic icon, and we need a demo as well. So we'll just quickly make a circle, fuse. Okay, so that is demo. So demolition, whoa, caps, demolition logo. So let's import all those. Let's make ourselves a new folder called textures, and we will set that to orange as well. Wow, I got a lot of orange going on. Stock assets, let's set that to red. All right, textures, new folder, team icons, set color. All right, anyways, there's our logos. So let's go back to our teams. Let's work on them. So sniper, we can change this to sniper. All right, so these are the snipers, and we can compile and save that. But I totally forgot one thing. Let's go to class defaults in our team data. We want our teams to replicate, and we want them to always be relevant, of course. And that should handle it. But yeah, we definitely want them to replicate for sure. So just make sure compile, save, replicate, perfect, always relevant, awesome. Sniper, okay. Close our team data, and so we got medic and demolition and assault. So medic, let's give it, where's our medic logo? These guys heal the others and have more, let's say, HP, more health points. These are the medics. Compile and save, replicates, perfect. Alright, oh, we need to give them a color too, we'll make them red. I don't like bright red though. Go blood red. Alright, compile and save. I'm using a new audio setup too, by the way. Hopefully you get less clicky clack from my keyboard and such, so let me know if it sounds better. So, team demolition. Demolition. What color should they be? They could be maybe... They could maybe be orange. Color of fire. Why not? And demo. Heavy armored with lots of blowy uppy stuff in their inventory. Boom. Boom. Save. Boom, save. And assault. Assault. Totally a bullet. Totally not something else. Team names. Assault. And they will be, let's make them blue. I like that blue. That'll look pretty good. Well-rounded. Well-rounded all over the map. Good enough for me. Alright, compile and save. Next, so we are gonna want something to differentiate our spawned in players based on what team they are. So I'm gonna make this yellow. Make this yellow as well. Delete that. So our third person character on its own is pretty good. And if we go to our mesh, we have two materials. What happens if we get rid of the logo? It's just in the center there. You know, that might be a good place for the team color actually, rather than the whole body, although that's kind of small at the same time too. But if we took the whole body, that would be kind of a good place to start. So let's create a material. So let's go to content, new folder, materials. I'm going to set that to be red since we'll rarely be using it probably. And I'm going to make a new folder called team material. We'll just go team mats. Set that to orange. Let's make a new material called material underscore team mat ID or something. And let's create a vector 3, and then let's pull off and type metallic. I can totally spell metallic shading. Put that into our base color, and let's right click. Well, let's make this first of all the default purple, red 1, blue 0.5. Let's right click and convert to parameter, and let's call this parameter name team color. Save. Once that's done, we can close that, and then we can right click, create material instance, and we will call this mi team mat or team mat ID underscore color. How about that? And we'll open it and make sure that team color is a vector parameter. So, whoa, concrete dude, totally. So let's change that to mi underscore team mat ID color. So he should be purple, or whatever. There we go, purple man. All right, so let's go into our event graph, and I'm gonna make a new graph, which I'm gonna call stock movement input graph. And I'm gonna take all of this, cut it out, and paste it in there, just to get it out of my way. So let's create a, well, actually, let's step back a few steps. We're gonna need a way to choose teams. So let's just compile and save that for now. Let's go to our blueprints folder, and let's create a new blueprint class, all classes, game instance. Where are you, game instance? There you are, game instance. So GI, we'll just call this teams. And then we'll go edit project settings, and we'll go maps and modes, and we will make game instance changed to that, because the game instance class is the only class that is that stays the same, that is relevant from game start to game end. Now the save game class is the only class that allows you to save data closing from after closing a game and starting a game, but the game instance stays there no matter what changes from game start to game end. So we want important details in there. So let's open that up, and let's create a new variable called teams. Let's go defined teams. We'll make this configurable. We'll make it editable. We'll give it a category called configuration. Define teams, and we'll make that a team BP teams data reference array. Compile, save. Actually, no. Let's go back to teams, and let's right click blueprints. Let's make a structure for that. I don't want to use it in the teams data class, but it would work perfectly fine in the game instance. So let's create a structure underscore team info, team data. I don't want to call it team data because that's what we already called it, teams info. Let's open this up, and let's go team name, I guess, and we'll give that a value of a string, and we want that to be editable. Yep, perfect. And we'll probably use the same mesh for all of them for now. So we will just keep it there. However, let's go team color, and we'll do mi I can't do that, that's right. It's totally forgetting things. Material instance reference, which we can set to as team mat ID color. All right. So we'll save that. We'll go to our game instance, and we will change that to s_teams info. We'll make that an array. Compile and save. So let's add 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. So we got assault, team color. That's not gonna work. So let's go back and change that to a linear color and save. And we'll make that the default pink as well. Add an alpha of 1. Save that. Go back here. Compile. So we have to remember what we made all our colors. Assault was kind of a blue, and we had medic, which was a dark red, not pink, dark red, and we had sniper, which was kind of that really desaturated. Whoa, what is going on with this? Desaturated. What? It's like I can't. Weird, man. Like in there, except less saturated. I really can't do anything. That's kind of retarded. And what did we set demolition as? See, now it opens it up in the data only. We set it to orange, so just copy that hex code there. So, demolition, and we will make their team color orange. All right, so we have that set up. So, in our game instance, we have defined teams, and so you could go on later to change this to add or remove teams, and we could add more details by using the structure. So let's go back, let's compile and save that now. Let's go back to our character, and let's create a new function, and we will call this set character visual or cosmetics, because there could be other things. So let's start by getting the game instance. That is player controller. Getting the game instance and casting to our game instance. Let's right click and convert it to a peer cast. And let's drag off of there, and let's get defined teams. And off of that, let's do an array get. There's a hotkey for that, isn't there? It's A, yes. And so we need to drive that. So we need to, we know that 0 is assault, 1 is medic, 2 is sniper, 3 is demolition. And so we'll be able to grab info off that. So let's create a new variable called something like team ID. And we will make it an integer. And we will also, let's give it a good tooltip so that we don't forget. So this This pulls from the game instance class where the variable defined teams is set at time of writing, and 0 is the first team, 1 is the second, and so on. We'll compile and save that, and we'll give it a default of 0. So our default team will be Assault, and so let's get our team ID, and we could make, no, that's not a configuration. I want to throw these variables into, I'm just going to call this template, I guess, just because I don't like them being there. Template. Alright, and my character, we can close that off too. Alright, so team ID. So based off of that, we will break the structure, and so we will get the team color. And what we're going to want to do is, on our mesh, since we have that mi team mat, we're going to want to get our mesh and material, I guess, get material, element index 0, return value. Is that going to work? Set vector no. Get materials, turn value, get 0, no, set vector. So instead, let's just do this the proper way. We will create dynamic material instance on mesh, and we totally need to move this stuff down. The source material will be, well, now we can do a get material. For now we'll do that. It's just kind of cheating. I'd prefer to have a less forced way, but let's plug that into there. That should work, I believe. Return value, set vector parameter value. We want to set what was it called? Team color? Let's go back and check. Team color, yeah. Team color to the value of team color based on what we set team ID to. So I am happy with that. Since we're probably going to be doing more than that, let's pull this over and back up to be in line. The new 410 alignment stuff. Oh, I can't wait for 410 to be officially released. Let's make a sequence. I've learned a new way of CGO scripting with blueprints that I really like. What I was kind of taught or picked up from a tutorial was you can make a sequence and then you can go, well, I made a return node. That was odd. I totally wanted a reroute node, and you can make your CGO code here. Like, let's say we update the character's gun based on team ID. You know, you do something like that, and you could make another sequence off of there if you wanted to go even further. So how would we do that? Well, first we would get gun mesh, you know, and then we would set gun mesh and attach to socket. So I kind of like that, but anyway, so we will compile and save that. Let's go to our event graph now, and let's go on event begin play. We will make sure that the very first thing we do is set character cosmetics. So we'll connect that up to our event begin play. So let's give it a really quick test. let's make a new folder. Let's call this UI, and we're gonna set this to yellow because I will be using it quite often. Let's create a new folder called main menu, which we will set to yellow for now. And let's go and user interface widget. Let's create a widget underscore main menu. And just for testing, we will create a button with text in it. We'll size the button to content, and we will just say play. Let's just make that big, like 72. Heck yes. So let's move this button out of the way if I can. Something like that, and let's call it button play. And let's create a what do we want? What am I looking for? A spin box? Yeah, let's go for a spin box. And let's just add some text beside it, and we'll just call it team ID. And the value at stock will be 0. The minimum will be 0. The maximum will be 4. Minimum slider value will be 0. Maximum slider value will be 4. The delta should be 1 so that it changes by 1 value every time it slides. And we won't get to the specifics of clamping all those values right now, but we are going to call this Spinbox Team ID. And so let's go into the graph and let's go on event begin play, or sorry, on event construct. We want to get the game instance, cast to it, create a peer cast, and drag off of it. And we want to get defined teams. And then, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do a quick test. Let's add some text. We'll call this team name, and let's add a little quick border, and it will be the, let's call it border team color. I want that to be a variable, and we want to bind the brush color. Yes, so let's bind the brush color, create binding. Yeah, whatever, that'll work. I don't care about the name right now since we're just testing. And the team name bind, create binding. Get text, no. Get team name text. So what we want to do instead is get team color. We want to break that connection and paste that back in there. Get game instance, cast to it, get defined teams, get, and so we need to get an integer. So what we need to do is get the value of the spinbox. So let's drag in the spinbox team ID and let's get value, get the current value, and let's hope that works just like that. Usually I would use an array, but we'll hope that that will work, and we'll check it out here in a second. Let's copy all of that as well, and actually, well, let's break this first. Now let's copy all of that and plug team color into there. We can actually just return that straight. Same with the team name. I guess I should have made that a name instead of a string, but we can just convert, and that is that there. So let's make that a bit bigger, and the play button, button play on clicked, we will open level what is it called? Third person example map. Copy that. We will open that map. However, first we need to set the team ID chosen so that the character can get it. So first of all, we could actually do that as the value is changed. But rather, let's do it on button play. We'll just try this really quick. We will get game instance, cast, right click appear, actually we want to go into our game instance and let's create a new variable called character team ID, or we could call that rather selected. See, this is getting a little bit confused. I might change it up because we'd have like characters, medic, assault, sniper, whatever, on teams like team red, team blue, team the coolest team ever, whatever. But anyways, selected team ID. This will be a integer. We want it to be editable, sure. Let's compile and save for now. And we want to set selected team ID to spinbox team ID get value and plug it right into there. Hopefully the trunket works. And then we will open the level. So we'll compile and save that. Let's quickly go into our character here, and so we want to make sure that gets set. So on event begin play, let's do sequence instead. So first of all, this will be the second one. First of all, let's get game instance, cast, peer cast, get selected team ID, and then we want to set our team ID based on this. Whoops, not get, we want to set. Yeah, so compile and save, and then let's quickly create a new map. She already got one right here, so let's just go to blueprints, level blueprint, event begin play, create widget of class main menu. The owning player is get player controller, not custom event. Get player controller. Return value, add to viewport. Done deal. Compile. Let's go to our main menu quickly. Our designer. Let's add a border to the canvas panel. I'm really going quick and cheap on this. And let's make it a dark black / gray and a Z order of -99 or whatever. And we can't see anything because I meant to make the brush color, not the content color. So we will copy that, set that back to white, and set that as the brush color. Alright, so we should be able to work with that. So compile and save, and let's save this map. File, save as, into maps, and let's call it main menu. So let's save everything and see what happens. So we will play, and I totally forgot to enable mouse whatever. So widget main menu, on event construct get player controller, and enable mouse, actually set show mouse cursor to true, and set input mode UI only. Target is that player controller, widget focus is self or main menu, and it should go back to game when we change levels. But let's hit play. Alrighty, so we can change our teams, and as you can see, it's getting its values. So assault. Oh, I guess we have to +1 that. It would be between, no, it shouldn't be. 1 should be medic. So assault, medic, sniper, demolition, sniper, medic, assault, I guess 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's a 1 number, not a 0 start number. So I totally didn't think about that. Let's make that a quick fix, just because we have to uphold to the highest amount of quality in our prototypes. Minimum value 1, maximum value 4, value 1, compile, save, and play. Now it's giving me a medic. I guess that is because, yeah, it is 0. But we only have 3 choices. But we have 4 values, 0, 1, 2, 3. So I guess maximum slider value would be 3. No? Am I thinking wrong here? Compile. Whoa, totally didn't mean to do that. Compile, save, play. And I still have a minimum value of 1 somehow. Oh, there we go. 0. Compile, save, play. 0 assault. 1 medic. 2 sniper. 3 demolition. 4 can't go there. Okay, we're good. So we will be a medic and play. Okay, a medic and play. And we are apparently doing something wrong. So graph. On clicked button play, we get the value and set it in the game instance, and then we open the level. Apparently it doesn't want to open the level though. Let's give it a short delay then, possibly. Third person example map. Play, 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 play. How come you are not? Maybe because it's not saved. All right, play. We don't want to play though. We want to play for main menu. Play. Team ID 1. Where did our information go now? I have a feeling we're going to require more work than this. And I lost my mouse control as well. What's going on here? Okay, widget main menu. Set input mode UI only. Widget focus. Self. Show mouse cursor. On button play. Open level. Let's go to our main menu, level blueprint again, and let's also get, oh, it's right there. Let's create a reroute and show mouse cursor. Compile, play, team 2, 1, medic, play. There we go. Okay, so we are a red medic, but it did not set my input mode back to game, so I have no control. So let's fix that quick. So we will go into third person example map, and we will go into its level blueprint, and it's updated to fix issues on load. Please resave. Okay. On event begin play. we want to get player controller, and we want to set input mode game only. Compile, play. Alright, we have input here and we are default assault. Let's play from the main menu. Play. It is totally screwed up when you play in editor. When you have a new menu, however, or when you have a new window, however, it's also screwed up. How come that keeps happening? We did. Oh, I'm setting it to false. Set it to true as we wanted. Let's make sure I also did that there. Okay, yeah, we're good. Save that again and play. So, team 1, team 2. Where is my team information? It's broken again, apparently. What's going on here? Maybe let's not give it an owning player. And let's maybe not set that there, but rather let's set that here. Set input mode UI only. Widget focus is that one, and target is player controller, and compile and play. There we go, looking better. Play. So we have our blue assault guy. We can now walk and run around. Let's see if it's working in Pi. There we go. Well, our border's off, but whatever. So let's try demolition. We have an orange man or gold man. Perfect. Alright, so we have some basic team stuff set up. It technically is replicated and networked, but it's very, very basic. At this point, all you're gonna see is the color of the player, which, yes, that is teams. But it's very basic in its own right. What I would like to do is set up the main menu so that we can go and select our character and get a preview of them. I would like to add some sort of way, rather than just color, of differentiating teams, maybe leaving them alone but giving them a color in like a scoreboard or a kill list or something. And also possibly changing the mesh, since we're dealing more with characters rather than teams. I want to combine the two. I think what the original requester meant was more of teams built with characters, so if he could clear that up, that'd be great, because I'd love to combine the two. But if I'm kind of going off on a tangent, then I would definitely like to know. And I'd like to be able to set up a basic weapon, I guess, or component for each player. So for example, the assault guy would spawn with, say, like a rifle, the medic would spawn with, say, a health pack, the demolition guy with like a C4, and the sniper with like binoculars or a big sniper rifle or something. But that is the basics for now. It's technically still single player. We're not hosting any games, so if we set it to 2 players, we're not gonna get much of anything, I don't think. A sniper. And an assault. Yeah, we're not gonna see each other because we're not using any networking. So, let me know if you guys want me to set up the networking next, which would be pretty essential to a setup like this, or if that's kind of showing off the idea of teams good enough, or if we should continue working on this idea first, because the networking will take up a whole nother hour at least, and setting up a nice GUI to be able to choose what character you want and getting a preview, that would take another hour of tutorial. So just let me know what you guys want to see next. But that is the basic idea of teams in a nutshell. A very basic setup. It's a fairly advanced topic, and this is the most basic setup I could think of. But we could get a lot more advanced with this, so it'll definitely be an ongoing setup. So anyways, thanks for watching from the team here at UnrealTek. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos as well. We also take donations now if you look in the description or on social media, and the links on your screen. If you dislike this video for some reason, please tell us why, so we can continually improve based on your community input. We also take requests, so we'll see you next time. Remember, create your way.